Welcome to the CrossFit Max podcast.
What is going on, team? Thanks for clicking on to this episode. If you're like me and you hate being sick or you want to avoid being sick at all costs, this is going to be an extremely valuable podcast episode. That being said, we do go through a little bit of an extensive banter topic at the beginning. So if you want to get straight to the immunity stuff, then fast forward to about 13 minutes in. We appreciate all of you guys listening. And if you feel like you get some good value out of this, or you know someone that keeps getting sick over and over and over again throughout the year, then maybe they need to hear this and you need to send it over to them. All right, enjoy the episode. Boom, we live. Let's go.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome back, team. Susie and Brandon here for another amazing episode of the CrossFit Max podcast. I guess you heard all that in the intro, but I wanted to make it again.
Thank you for sharing. Do you feel good about that?
I do feel good about that. Just crushed a workout with the group class. Coach Sean ran the 12 p.m. Hopped in there. Those athletes were on fire today.
All right.
Did some heavy push jerks.
Do you need me for this intro?
It was a lot of fun.
You're just like steamrolling this episode. You're like, I am the captain now.
I am the captain.
Okay, tell me about your weekend, Brandon.
Oh, do you want me to get straight into the banter topic for today?
Yeah.
This weekend, with a few of the CrossFit Max members, we went to go compete at our the first ever HYROX competition in Canada. Canada. And it was really, really fun. If you guys have never heard of HYROX before, they consider themselves as the sport of fitness racing. So it's kind of like a combination of CrossFit and running, endurance sports.
Right.
And essentially...
Did they know that they stole our idea?
Our idea? How from the cardio and cardio?
Yeah.
It was... Well, we'll get to that in a second here. But essentially what HYROX is, it's getting very big in Europe. And it's starting to become a little bit more popular in the States.
It's trending.
And now it's making its way over to Canada.
Last but not least.
I feel like I need to sneeze. Hold on. What is it? Look at
the light.
Oh, nope. It's gone.
Oh, God. It's going to sneak up on you at the worst time. You're going to be mid-sentence later.
Sorry.
Achoo!
So, essentially, it's a test. It's a race. And the race stays the same all the time.
Every HYROX is the same race.
Every HYROX race
You're
is the same.
not very creative.
Well, it's just like running, right? Like, that's the whole thing about running. When you do a marathon, you're running 42.2 kilometers. What changes is the environment, I guess.
I was like, I will fight you that they're not all the same.
The distance and the temperature and the environment play into effect, but so does
some have
same
hills,
thing for
some don't have hills.
Same thing for HYROX. But
some are loops, some are point to point.
In the end, you're running for 42K.
Whatever.
But essentially, the race is always the same, and there are 8 stations. Now, the one that we competed at this weekend was a mini HYROX, and thank God it was a mini HYROX. Essentially, it was half the distance for everything and also half the weight for a lot of the things as well.
Wow.
So you had 8 stations.
So it wasn't really like a real workout.
It's kind of like running like the half marathon.
Oh, yuck.
All the marathon listeners are
screaming at us right now.
Half marathon. What a bunch
It's like
of
running
losers.
the 5K, isn't it?
What a bunch of jumps.
It's more like running the 5K.
Not going to lie, though, in the race, I was thinking, thank God this is a half or a mini HYROX, as they call it, because it was
Call
tough.
it by its real name, the real masculine name.
Yeah.
You did a mini HYROX.
Exactly, yeah. Okay, so let's tell people what the test is. I might mess up the order, but from my memory here, you had to do a 500-meter run in between the 8 stations. So you started the race at a 500-meter run, and then you came in, and the first station was a 500-meter ski.
Nice.
You go back out and run. You come back in. The next station was 25 meters of sled push, and I believe the sled push was 250 pounds. You run, you come back in, then you had 25 meters of sled pull. So there was a sled that was attached to a really long rope, and you had to pull it with your arms and your body weight for 25 meters.
Spicy.
It was. That was actually a lot harder than I thought. You go back out and run. The next station was 40 meters of burpee broad jumps. So that movement, essentially, you're on the turf. You do a burpee down to the ground, and then you do a long jump forward, drop down, do a burpee, and you have to do 40 meters of that. Stay tuned. That will come into the CrossFit Max programming soon.
Oh, no.
That was a spicy one. So that was the 4th station. You go back out and run. You come back in. The 5th station was a 500-meter row. Run. The 6th station was 60 meters of kettlebell farmer carries.
Okay.
The 7th station, you came back in after your run, and then you did 40 meters of sandbag lunging. So you had a sandbag on your back, and you had to lunge. And then you go back out and run for your final time. And then the last station was 50 wall balls with a 14-pound ball for the guys and an 8-pound ball for the ladies.
Love it.
And then you cross the finish line. And that took me just under 39 minutes. It was like 38:50 something.
It sounds like a decent time. Do you know, like, other people's times?
Yeah, most people... Well, I'll give you guys the best time. This guy was an absolute animal, endurance beast here. The best time was 28 minutes, which actually blew my freaking mind.
Wow, that's 10 minutes quicker.
When I heard that, he had done it, like, earlier in the morning, and I was like, okay, like, maybe I can go for 32 minutes. And I was very
humbled.
Mistaken.
Okay, but average time, like, not the beast time. Like 45?
I think out of like the 30-something people, I finished middle of the pack.
Okay, so you were average.
I was the average time, yeah. There was people faster than me, and the people who are faster than me have done, I got to speak to a few people there, but they have done several HYROXs before. I talked to one guy who did it, I think, in like 35 minutes.
What's the plural of HYROX?
HYROXs. Anyways, this guy did it in Miami, and he said he did the full HYROX, which the full HYROX is
times that by 2.
Times everything by 2. So the distance for running is not 500 meters, it's 1,000 meters.
1K.
So that's a decent run every single time. And then all the distance is also for like the sled push. It's 50 meters, the sled pull 50 meters. The weight on the sled was apparently double. So yeah, crazy little test there.
How long does that take?
It's kind of like saying the half marathon or the marathon. It's not necessarily twice.
Times it by 2, yeah.
It's not like a
it's times 2
much
thing. Harder.
It's much more challenging, but
very cool.
Really cool experience. We did it with several athletes at the gym, and it was a cool experience. And the thing about, I went into this because I wanted to see from the business standpoint, the entrepreneur in my body here, my mind was like, how do they run this thing? It'd be cool. We do our cardio and cardio sessions, but when we program our cardio and cardio sessions, I program movements back to back that are very complementary to each other,
right,
for our athletes to be able to keep moving forward, as opposed to feeling like they need to take a break because either their heart rate is too high or their muscle endurance, like their quads are too sore and they need to take a break, or your arms need a break. For example, if we program a cardio exercise, the next one it might be a lower body exercise, then the next one will be like an upper body exercise, and the next one may be a core exercise,
right?
So it's very complementary to like just keep moving forward, whereas HYROX was not like this. The test was very quad dominant,
right?
So your legs, right after the second station was the sled push, the 25-meter sled push, and right from that station, like, your quads were just on fire the whole time. And your quads are one of those muscles that if they're starting to get like a lot of like lactic acid buildup in it, your heart rate gets jacked up. It's harder to catch your breath. So yeah, it was spicy from beginning to end. There was squatting, there was lunging, there was sled pushing and sled pulling. So it was very quad dominant. But yeah, it was a great experience. We had a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to redoing that again.
From the team went with you.
So we had a few athletes. We had Justin, who came. Justin and I originally had signed up with one of our friends, Kat de Gagne. And then who else was there? We had Renee sign up last second.
Very cool.
And then we also had, I guess instead of doing this at the end of the podcast, we'll do this at the beginning of the podcast here during the banter topic.
Plot twist. Pew, 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 pew,
Client of the week. One of my personal clients who I've been working with for several years now, Max not the dog, the human.
I know people get them mixed up all the time.
So Max ended up, without like any hesitation, told him that I was doing this like the week of, and he was like, "Oh, like sign me up. I want to do it." And he signed up that day.
Very cool.
And it was, I think it was 3 days before the actual competition, or maybe even 4 days before the actual race. He signed up. He crushed it. Yeah. So not only did he come and compete in HYROX, he's also been like super consistent with his training. He comes and does CrossFit here twice per week. And he does his program his online stuff for his garage gym three other days throughout the week. He's
dedicated,
super fun.
He always comes to our events too.
He comes to our events. A dad of 2. Yeah, and he's just been a really fun client to be working with over the years.
That's why we named the gym after him.
Exactly. Yeah, he likes to joke around that we didn't name the gym after our dog, but we named the gym after him. So
yeah.
I think
we'll let him believe it for the next full week.
I wonder how many years it's actually been. It's got to be like probably close to the 4-year mark.
Whoa, you've been with Max almost as long as you've been with me.
Maybe longer.
Oh, lucky Max.
I have to go back in the archives and see. I think it might be more than 4 years, actually. Wow. Anyways, Max, thanks for being such an awesome dude and awesome.
We love you long time.
Yeah, and way to go.
It's like, shut up, Susie.
And way to go on the HYROX competition. That was really cool.
Well done.
The gym that we went to is called Olympia Performance. It's really close to our gym. It's kind of like an open gym model. They do like functional training.
Yeah.
And they said that they're going to do another mini HYROX in 6 months from now.
Cool.
So
maybe get a crew together.
Stay tuned for
Dominate.
for my athletes who love endurance sports. Check out HYROX.
I love endurance.
Check out HYROX on Instagram, or Google it, give it a look. It would be cool if we maybe started incorporating a little HYROX training once a week in here. Maybe stay tuned for that, for more info on that. I think it would be really cool, especially because we have a lot of people who love.
How sneaky of you to tease that right now.
Love endurance stuff, and they also love the CrossFit functional training side of things. So, stay tuned for that.
All right.
Yeah. Last little banter topic before we get into the real
people are here for the banter topic, anyways.
We have some cool events coming up here. We have our neon workout.
Woo!
By the time you guys hear this, we're about
tomorrow.
A week away. Yeah, it's true. We're we're recording a little bit later. You guys will have about 10 days. 10
Get
days.
Your tickets.
10 days until the neon workout. We're already 75% sold out. It will be our biggest event to date. DJ Navidad has been working on his set. And you don't want to miss.
The man is magic.
You don't want to miss the most high energy, fun workout of the year. So November 3rd, 6 p.m. Neon workout is back. It will be the last neon workout of this year of 2023. So don't miss out.
Freaking freak did we get to November so quick?
It's close. We're a few days away.
This year, I feel like we blinked.
Yeah, it has gone by quick. And then on that topic, blah. On the topic of events, if you are listening to this podcast, you are probably a CrossFit Max member. But if you're not,
block your ears.
If you're not, we're waiting for you. Come on, let's go. We have our Christmas or holiday party coming up on December 9th.
How very PC of you.
Yeah.
Holiday party.
Yeah, holiday party. Yeah, you got all different religions and cultures and people listening. So holiday party on December 9th. That's a Saturday.
Save the date.
Unless
you don't come here, then just ignore this part.
We work really hard on our health and fitness for 364 days a year. Let's let this be the one day where we just let loose.
Get lit.
Get the drinks flowing. We're working on
Let your hair down.
Yeah, dress up. We're working on some finer details on like the food and booze.
all the
drinks.
good stuff.
But
it's gonna be fun.
It's the one party that we would love to just like have that one evening with all of you guys where we can just celebrate and have fun. So save the date.
I want to see people wear jeans and stuff. Like, wow, that'd be so weird.
This is a
Makeup,
this
jeans,
is a formal event. Everyone's gonna be wearing tuxedos,
dresses.
Just kidding. We'll call it semi-formal.
Yeah.
Semi-formal.
I don't know.
Jeans,
Just don't wear your Crocs or your messy buns. Like, it's not the time.
Jeans with
Cute top.
crop top, or pants with a crop top.
Yes. Whoever wants to wear a crop top is welcome to wear a crop top.
All right, enough of the banter topic.
Right. Tell them why we're really here, Brandon.
You guys saw from the title. This was actually a longer banter topic than I thought. Sorry if you guys just wanted to get straight to the.
In case you were here just to learn about the immune system, I'm sorry.
All right, it's that time of year, folks, where
it's cold and flu season.
It's flu season's coming up. Do we say COVID season at this point? What is
Ooh,
hot topic? Anyways, people.
COVID's not real, babe.
COVID,
I'm just kidding. It was a joke. Everybody calm down.
COVID is dead. It's just flu season or cold season. Cold season, let's say this. And people's immune systems are going to be tested. Let's say that.
Natural selection at its finest. Only the strong will survive.
Only the strong will survive. Okay, so I put up a blog post in our private community group, and I felt like it would be some good value for our podcast listeners, and just to kind of also hear about this in two different ways, by reading it and by also listening to it. So I put up this blog post because it is that time of year. You're going to be inside more often. Your immune system is going to be more compromised. It's getting darker. Mm-hmm. It's getting much colder outside. And people are getting sicker, or more likely to get sick. There's been a few people at the gym who have also caught a fever or caught a cold. So yeah, that's why we're going to make this.
It's coming for us. So what can we do to arm ourselves with the best defenses? Well,
first, let's talk about the actual mindset behind the immune system. And I think a lot of people, just think that like, hey, my immune system is just.
It is what it is.
It's just this thing that I have, and you just kind of hope for the best and
roll the dice, hope you don't get sick.
Like, it's just not something that we necessarily think of because it's very natural, right? We all have an immune system. We all have some sort of defense mechanism, but there is this part of the immune system that people don't realize, is that you can actually strengthen your immune system. You can actually give it a little bit of a boost. You can also, at the same time, you can also weaken it.
Yeah. You're in the driver's seat here.
Yeah.
And you don't have to just sit around hoping you don't get sick. There are things that you can do that are going to help you prevent getting sick, or in the event that you do get sick, maybe reduce the amount of symptoms that you end up having, or speed up your recovery process.
Yeah. And even if you have already caught a cold, or you've been sick over the last couple weeks or several weeks that have gone by, just note that you can still work on it right now. Even if you are sick in this moment, listening to it, turning this on because you saw the title and you're like, oh, maybe I should listen to that podcast that, CrossFit Max has posted. Just note that you can help your system while you're also sick. It's not one of those things that's too late.
Okay, so let's get into some real facts here.
Yeah, well, the reality is that getting sick is inevitable. It's going to happen at one point here, but essentially your immune system, your immune response, is like the defense mechanism to any sort of foreign invader that is going on inside your body. So that could be like bacteria, that could be virus, that could be fungi.
Yuck.
Yeah. So any sort of thing that isn't supposed to be in your system, your body has an immune response or a reaction, and it's quite complex, much more complex than my knowledge on the topic, but I know that there are few things that you can do to help improve that. But first, I want you to note that before you even get sick, your immune system actually can go to work without you even getting sick. So what I mean by that is people think that I got a cold and there was nothing I could have done with that. And in the blog post, I put like a little gnarly example on the post there. So I'm sorry for the listeners here. But
if you get triggered easily.
there's a few things, or there's a few different ways that you can get sick here, obviously. But let's use this example here. Let's say you're in the gym. You gain your training session on, you're getting your sweat on, you're lifting heavy. And there's someone else that's towards the middle of their flu-like symptoms or their cold, whatever virus they're fighting, and they still try to push and come to the gym, and they sneeze on their hands.
Ew.
And then they go to the bathroom, they touch the door handle, and then whatever. They move on with their life here. And then
they hopefully wash their hands after, but it's too late.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're not all super clean on that aspect, and you should be sneezing in the elbow. By the way, if you're someone that sneezes in your hand, I'm looking at Susie right now because she did that today, and I was like, "That's disgusting."
Your hands are clean.
But let's say hypothetically, this happens all the time. You get germs on someone who's fighting a cold, sneezes on their hand, or rubs their nose, touches a door handle.
You touch the same
and
door
then
handle.
You go to the door handle later on, and you touch the door handle. Now, there's kind of 3 examples that I put in the blog post, and number 1 was essentially you touching the door handle, and then let's say you rub your eye quite recently after that. Now, that virus or those germs that was on the door handle, you rub your eye, that gets into your system. Now, your immune system I put 3 different ways that this could happen. Your immune system can go to work right away, and it could beat the living F out of that.
Bye-bye, germies.
Out of those germs, right? And you might...
Nice try.
You might never know...
It happened.
It even happened. You might never know about that
best case scenario.
Snotty door handle.
Stop it. Yuck.
So that is a very likely possibility. And for people who build strong immune systems,
that happens all the time,
who are super healthy, this happens all the time in your house, in public areas, at the grocery store.
Okay. Stop. You're making me feel
touching all these things with your hands here. And then we touch our face all the time. So this is something that happens quite frequently, and people who are healthier and who work on creating a strong immune system will never even know they got sick, or they're less likely to get sick throughout the process. Number 2 is, unfortunately, your system isn't as strong as it should be, but you still fight it a little bit. And essentially, your immune system has a response to it. It starts to fight it, but your symptoms might feel like a little bit lower energy. You might have a little bit of sniffles. Your throat might get to be a little bit dry, but you never actually catch a fever. You never really feel ultimately sick. That is your immune system being able to fight that off before, let's say, the virus or the bacteria or whatever gets out of control.
Right.
So it's like you feeling kind of off. Maybe you slept a little weird and whatever, right? And then the third example is either the virus, bacteria, whatever, the foreign invader is a little bit too strong, or the unfortunate situation, which actually happens to a lot of people, is that your immune system is just it's a little bit weaker and it's overworked throughout the day-to-day stuff, and your immune system has a really, really hard time reacting or creating the appropriate defense to fight that off, and essentially you get really, really sick. You get fever, chills, your body is just fighting something that is the unfortunate situation. You get really, really sick here. Mm-hmm. So those are the 3 examples that I put. Situation number 1, you fight it off. You never even know you were sick. Situation number 2, you kind of feel off, maybe a little runny nose, a little bit lower energy. Something just feels kind of off, but it's nothing severe. You might not even feel like you're really sick. And then situation number 3 is you're full-blown sick. You get a fever, you're in pain, and your immune system has been compromised, and all things gone.
We don't want that.
Mission failed. So those are kind of the 3 situations, and obviously I'm oversimplifying your immune's response in those situations, but just trying to paint a picture on what are the 3 most likely situations to happen.
Okay.
Do you want to add anything to that?
No, I want to know now, how do I stop situation 3 from happening?
Yeah. So
tell me the good stuff.
So there's 5 tips, or we'll call it 5 tips that help create a stronger immune system. So
things that we can do to put the odds in our favor.
Things that'll help more for situation number 1, right? Now, managing inflammation levels is tip number 1. Inflammation is one of the major defense mechanisms for our immune response. Now, if we're unhealthy, if we consume a lot of processed foods, if we're carrying an excessive amount of body fat on our body,
right,
inflammation levels
are
already high throughout the day-to-day life.
Like the baseline inflammation is already kind of out of whack in those situations.
Then when your immune system tries to react, but your, let's say, inflammation levels are already overworked, then you're going to be compromised as well. Your immune system is not going to be able to respond and react as quick. So managing inflammation levels is going to be one of the most important things for our immune system.
So let me repeat in case I'm making sure I'm understanding correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, if you're operating at a highly inflamed day-to-day, so being like very overweight or consuming really poor quality foods and stuff, then your immune system is so busy all the time that by the time you get sick, it's not strong enough because it's been just overworked.
Exactly.
Versus if you're keeping yourself at a healthy body weight and you're paying close attention to your nutrition, then your immune system is working in full force when you get sick instead of at like half strength.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Love it. Obviously, we're simplifying, but
yes. And that's tip number 1. And
reduce inflammation.
Try to manage inflammation. Like we talk as like inflammation is only a bad thing, but this is one of the situations where inflammation is actually important, and our immune system essentially needs inflammation in the body, but it cannot come at a cost of like unhealthy weight or eating tons or predominantly processed foods where inflammation is already at a high. We want our inflammation to be low. This way, when our inflammation needs to be triggered, we need it to be triggered as opposed to it being triggered all the time and being overworked.
Gotcha. Next tip.
Number 2 goes well with number 1. All these kind of go well together here, but it's consuming nutrient-dense foods. So foods that are fruits, vegetables, foods that have tons of vitamins and minerals for our body to be thriving on.
And the actual fruit and the actual vegetable, the whole food version.
The whole food version, yeah. So like things that are grown from the ground, right? Berries. Berries are extremely high in antioxidants, you know. Bananas, they have high in potassium. You got dark leafy greens that have like magnesium and stuff. So I'm not even naming like tons of other like vitamins and stuff and minerals, but your body thrives on eating these like colorful, beautiful foods, and it's not
nature's medicine.
Exactly. It's not just that it's colorful and stuff, but all those minerals and vitamins are gonna like help with your immune system's overall strength, let's say.
You're arming the immune system.
Exactly.
With the nutrients.
So if you are sick right now, consuming berries and bananas and vegetables, sometimes like when we're sick, we don't really think about consuming that. We're like,
you feel like a blob.
Yeah, we're like, I just want to eat toast, but no, don't eat the like highly processed heavy gluten toast.
You're just gonna add more inflammation, and then we're back to step 1.
Get fruits into the body, get vegetables into the body. Consume soups that have a bunch of vegetables in them, you know. Like
yum.
Yeah, it's getting cold, so it's like soup season is coming around here. But anyway, so
potage season.
Consuming nutrient dense foods.
Love it.
Right? And also, just an FYI, usually these nutrient dense foods are anti-inflammatory foods, so foods that help keep normal day-to-day inflammation down to a normal baseline level instead of them being skyrocketed. Okay. Nutrient dense foods, meaning there's lots of nutrient density, as opposed to energy dense foods, things like super processed foods. For example, white bread. Like these foods are extremely high in calories and relatively low
nutritional value.
Exactly.
All right. Tip number 3, baby.
Tip number 3 is something I talk about often. We say it on the podcast. We talk about it in blog posts. We talk about it on social media.
Enough.
Eat your protein. So important. Your immune cells are made up of protein. So you need to be eating adequate amount of protein throughout the day. It is extremely important. Think of it like this. If you have a virus or some sort of foreign invader, I want 100% of my immune system to be able to react. I want 100% of the cells, 100% of my body to go to work right now.
Yep.
If you don't eat enough protein and you don't have enough immune cells, you don't have enough
because they're starving
defense, I would rather have 100% of my system working than 50% or 75%. So it's one of the major important things that you need to eat adequate amount of protein. And the guide for this is between 0.8 grams to 1 gram per pound of body weight or per pound of desired body weight. So if you're trying to lose weight, you go based on your desired body weight. But if you're 150 pounds, you should be eating close to 150 grams of protein. So protein is super important. That's tip number 3. Tip number 4 is staying hydrated.
Drink your water.
Not just your water. Water is going to be super important, but also getting in your electrolytes. Keeping adequate amount of hydration in our body, it's going to help remove toxins. It's going to help transport our cells throughout our body, our nutrients between cells. So it's super important when, let's just say we go back to tip number 2, we're getting these nutrient dense foods in, and going back to tip number 3, where we have all these like wonderful cells, we also want them to be transporting nutrients throughout them. So if we need to go to war because we have this invader in our system, you want them to be able to communicate between each other. You want them to be able to transport vitamins and minerals and nutrients between them. So staying hydrated, not just drinking a lot of water, but drinking enough water and getting your appropriate electrolytes in your system, sodium, calcium, magnesium, potassium. Like these are all super important electrolytes that you should be trying to get. And whether you're getting enough through your whole foods or you're taking like an element, these things are going to be super important. And if you are sick, I would highly recommend getting an element into your water and drinking it as soon as possible. Because typically if you do get sick, you're probably dehydrated. You know, maybe things might be coming up and you need to try to keep things down. So liquids might be out of your body. So dehydration is one of the first symptoms when you start to get ill. Yeah. So getting an element, don't drink a freaking Gatorade. Get an element into your body ASAP. Okay. So that is tip number 4.
Nice.
Tip number 5 is making sure you train regularly. Exercise is super important. It promotes blood flow throughout your body. It's also going to help with your body's reaction to any sort of invader. We want a strong body, but we not just by lifting weights through like strong muscles and stuff, but we also want our immune system to be strong as well. So training regularly is going to be crucial for the longevity, but also for building a healthy immune system.
Love it.
And then I put a little bonus one in there.
Tell us.
And that is take these 2 supplements. I know I already talked about Element. Element is maybe a third bonus one here. But
Element goes under category step number 4, which is hydration.
Yeah. But to me, like Element is just like such a thing that you should be taking daily. But also so are these two supplements here. Tell us. The bonus one is taking these 2 supplements, and that's vitamin D3 and omega-3. And you should try to take this every single day, especially during this time of the year. Darkness is most of our day here, especially for those of you guys who are working inside throughout the, the 9 to 5, you're probably getting zero sunlight exposure. I'm almost getting zero sunlight exposure on my skin right now. So we're not getting like any vitamin D, and vitamin D is crucial for our health and our immune system. Mm-hmm. So taking a vitamin D3 supplement, we sell it at the gym for this specific reason. I take it in the summer and I up my dosage in the winter. So it's not that I just don't take it in the summer. I take it in the summer as well, but I just up the dosage during this time of year for the other 6 months of the year where it's just dark all the time. And it has so many health benefits, but immune system is definitely one of them. And then the other thing is the omega-3. Like I said, omega-3 you can get, it's a fish oil. We also sell it at the gym. If you also want to go to your local supplement store and buy one, you can as well. But omega-3 has tons of health benefits. It is an anti-inflammatory. It's good for your heart health, good for your brain health, good for your joints. And if you're like me and you don't consume enough fish throughout the week, it's just not one of my preferred meat sources, then I would highly recommend you take omega-3.
Mic drop.
And that's the bonus tip. And if you're wondering how much, again, this is just a rough guide here. I personally am taking 4,000 units of vitamin D3, and I believe our omega is one gram per pill. So I'm taking 3 grams, so 3,000 milligrams of omega-3 every day. Yeah, it's 1,000. Yeah, for sure it is. So I take 4 vitamin D pills and I take 3 omega-3 pills. And that's kind of where I would guide you roughly. And again, that can change because if you are someone that's getting a little bit more vitamin D exposure, you could bring it down maybe to 3,000 units. But it's unlikely that even if you are getting some sunlight exposure, you're probably not getting a lot of sunlight exposure in terms of like your skin visibility. Your skin, you're probably wearing a jacket now and pants and boots and a hat, so this time of year is coming up where
so sad.
So getting vitamin D is going to be crucial. And omega-3, if you eat more fish, then you could maybe take 2 pills. If you eat 0 fish at all, then maybe you might want to take 4 pills. So this is kind of just a
rough guide.
A rough guide for you guys. And just to kind of end it here on the immune system is that we need to focus on the things that we can control. The things that are out of our control, like essentially we can't control the exposure that we get, the virus that we might take on, that our body might fight, but we are in complete control over the food that we put into our system and our daily activity levels. So these are just huge factors in building a healthy immune system. So
yeah, like the fact of the matter is it's not like you're not going to get sick if you do these things.
Getting sick is inevitable. Yeah.
But you're less likely to get as sick, or you're going to help yourself from getting sick often. Mm-hmm. You're just going to stack all the odds in your favor. Yeah. There's no Band-Aid fix, it is what it is. We're going to get exposed to stuff. It's just the nature of the world, but don't you want your system to be working at its optimal levels if and when that happens?
Yep. So those 5 tips and plus the bonus one there, I think will really help guys. Hopefully you guys got some good value.
I did.
Out of this podcast. Hopefully it cleared it up. I mean, it's a really complex topic, but we're just trying to simplify it for the everyday
I think you did a great job, babe.
Fitness enthusiast, CrossFit go-getter, potential HYROX competitor.
Oh my God. Half marathon runner.
Don't
think I forgot about that, baby.
Can't say that until next year. But all right, guys, thanks for tuning into this episode. We'll catch you guys in
next week.
The next one. See ya.
Bye.